Hello everybody and welcome to Face Reading Secrets of the People in the News. This week I will speak about Anthony Robbins. For those who are with me today for the first time, I would like to remind you, if you get interested in the subject of face reading, you can watch my YouTube introduction to face reading and or get my book Face Reading Secrets for Successful Relationships. It's available on Amazon.com. And also please click subscribe if you want to receive notifications every time I post a video. And now, Anthony Robbins, ladies and gentlemen, an inspirational speaker, a success coach, a businessman, an author, and a philanthropist. He became well known for his infomercials and self-help books. Unlimited Power, he wrote Unleash the Power Within, he wrote Awaken the Giant Within, and several more books. This is not a person who just enriched himself by selling books and his skills to others. This is a person who, while enriching himself, spent most of his life giving to others, feeding those in need, giving his time for free to those who could not afford to pay, helping individuals, communities, and organizations throughout the world. I kept an eye on his life and work for over 30 years because sometime in mid-80s I attended one of his Firewalk seminars in New York City. Here I am walking on a bed of hot coals, 2000 degrees. I was a young therapist then, and also I was giving lectures. One of the lectures I was giving was about the power of the mind. And there was someone who was actually demonstrating the same idea but in a very concrete and practical way. So I and a group of my students registered for the event. And as Anthony said then, this experience was not about proving to yourself that you can take a risk and do something crazy like that and then brag about it. It was about showing yourself that there are no boundaries that we cannot extend. And the only limitations we have are those we impose on ourselves. Back to Anthony. First I will read Anthony's face, which is his personality, and then I will talk about his profile, which is the embodiment of his temperament. Those of you who have been with me for a while perhaps noticed that it looks like there are two faces there, and you are right. Here, you can clearly see the Mars face, but you can also see yet another face. And this face is Saturn. We call it this kind of a face, Saturn over Mars. Saturn over Mars is a face of a person with, among many other characteristics, with a murderous impulse. It does not mean that every Saturn over Mars is a murderer, but the impulse is there. People can transform the impulse for destruction into the impulse of construction. That is why we have free will. Let me give you an example. About 7 months ago, I did a reading on O.J. Simpson. Let me just repeat the part on Simpson from that reading. I have a little story to tell you about Saturn over Mars face. In 1990, and that is almost 5 years before that quite infamous event that we know, my instructor then, Geraldine Epstein, introducing Saturn over Mars face, said, "You know the football player O.J. Simpson? His face is Saturn over Mars." Here they are, both Saturn over Mars. The same lines on the sides of the forehead, the same rectangular face, and over it a reverse trapezoid. The only difference, as you can see, O.J.'s forehead is a kind of a roundish and Anthony's is straight, meaning that O.J. was able to be mentally detached. Mars gives the personality spontaneity, impatience, readiness to fight rather than negotiate, and short attention span. And the Saturn adds willfulness, need to have plans and goals, time awareness, deliberation, and the ability to calculate. The combination at times turns lethal. But as you heard me saying in other readings, beyond personality and even the innate qualities of the temperament is free will and moral choices we all make. Anthony Robbins is still a guy with a fighting spirit. Not by chance he likes martial arts, but he chose to fight poverty, insecurity, apathy, hopelessness, helplessness, first in himself and then helping others fight and win the same battles. And you see the results, of course. And what about the other guy? Well, they said he didn't do it. Now, we'll talk also about left face, right face analysis. I chose this picture, and I know it's a little bit dark, but it's the only picture of Anthony Robbins I could find where he is not smiling and looks straight into the camera. You may remember from other readings, the left side of the face is associated with the past, and the right side with the present and the potential for the future. And for better viewing, we paste two left sides and two right sides together. The two left sides are easily identifiable. We can see clearly a rectangle, that is Mars, with of course a Saturn over Mars. But the two right sides show a face with the upper part clearly an Earth here, with a Saturn over. So what does it all mean? It tells us that in the past, and I'm talking about his age sometime from early childhood to the age between 20 and 30, that is first half of his life, Anthony had a lot of anger, fighting spirit, need to conquer, little patience, and a tremendous drive to succeed. That is the combination of Mars and his straight across stubborn eyebrows. Here, green arrows. But he graduated. That is, in his present and the potential for the future, and mind you, this change started some 30 years ago. Anthony, as Saturn over Earth, is non-aggressive, but if necessary, of course, is willing and ready to put up a fight like any Earth would, family-oriented, has a lot of energy, and uses his energy to accomplish concrete and practical goals. He is logical and doesn't like abstract ideas, conversations, or projects. He likes to be concrete and accomplish real, concrete goals. And he needs and wants physical and emotional intimacy. Notice that his eyebrows in this picture of his present and potential for the future are no longer straight, blue arrows. He is more flexible and accommodating. And now finally, the temperament of Anthony Robbins, which is embodied in his profile. As you can see, all of his life, Anthony was and is a sanguine. So he came into this world, remember the archetype, animal archetype of a sanguine is a lion, the king. Yes, he came as an empire builder, courageous, generous, spontaneous, action-oriented, impatient, and demanding, with a short attention span and a short fuse. But from reading his face, we already know that he learned to be organized, patient, meticulous, and time-conscious. Remember, these are qualities of the Saturn. Okay, you may say, we can see how all those qualities helped him to achieve a lot. But what made him care about others? Why is this philanthropy work? Yes, from his life story we may know that he didn't have it easy from the get-go. But so what? Not everyone who had it tough goes on becoming a philanthropist. Is there anything in his morphology that can give us a clue about why he made the choices he did? Yes. Look at his beak-like nose. It stands for great sensitivity and emotionality. The bridge of the nose is thin, meaning that is anxiety. He is anxiety-driven. Never mind that he appears so confident and forceful. Yes, he is all of the above. But along with it is a great vulnerability, intense emotions, if no longer anxiety about the self, he still has anxiety about not doing enough for others. Once the king, that is the sanguine, got his subjects, he will fight for them to death, because with his emotional nose, he feels the pain of everyone. And knowing that he has the skills, that he can be useful to so many, he is driven by the need to fix the world. Another interesting feature that drives Anthony to keep giving is that he is naturally kind. Remember Master Yoda from Star Wars? The big space between the eyes, they casted him right. And you can see when you look at Anthony Robbins' eyes the same. Look at the space between his eyes. His big teeth also tell us something. He knows how to bite into life. And with the Saturn's deliberation and the Earth's rootedness, both of which are, by the way, he did not come into this world with, but developed as a result of continuous work on self-mastery. Remember the stubborn eyebrows. Anthony Robbins is able to help millions of people from around the world to lead better, more productive, and more fulfilling lives. And that is all for Anthony Robbins. Thank you for being with me today. Peace to all.